Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing down below. I do tons of different content. Right now I am focusing on changing what that is. A little bit of different stuff here and there, but also some of all the same things. I have a lot of things planned in the next few weeks, so please consider subscribing down below. To anyone who is returning to my channel, hello and welcome back. This video that I want to talk to you guys about today, because it is almost the end of Pride Month, I wanted to talk about my journey into becoming part of the LGBTQIA community. I have kind of a lengthy story, I guess, but not really, depending on how you look at it. I also want to apologize really quickly for being a little slow on getting content out. If you go to my Instagram at all, then you already know that I just got over having COVID. So this might get edited weird depending on how many times I have to stop to cough, because I still do have the cough part of it. I can't seem to get rid of it, and it's a pretty gnarly cough, to be honest. So I would love to get rid of that, but I still have it. So this video might get chopped up quite a bit to cut those out, because the more I talk, obviously the more I cough, and yeah. So anyways, today's video, like I said, is about my journey into my sexuality and why I think it's important, not necessarily announce your sexuality, but why I think coming out of the closet or coming out in general is helpful. So first, I will start off by saying I am pansexual. If you do not know what pansexual is, pansexual means you are not limited in sexual choice with regards to biological sex, gender, or gender identity, meaning that when you are pansexual, sexuality and gender are not contributing factors to who I'm attracted to. I could be attracted to anyone for any reason. Doesn't matter if they're a girl or a boy or gender fluid, non-binary, trans, does not matter. I could be attracted to anyone, and I have been attracted in my life to many different people from many different walks of life. My journey has been, I would say, interesting, but probably not too far off from what a lot of people are going through. But I still wanted to share it with you guys anyways, because it is Pride Month, and I feel like the more open and honest we can be with each other, the more accepting people become. The reason I wanted to make this video, and I know a lot of people say that they don't understand why people need to come out, what's the big deal? If we're all just accepting of each other, then coming out should be just whatever, it shouldn't matter. But that's the problem. There are a lot of people still in this day and age that unfortunately are not accepting and are cruel and hateful, and I feel like the only way that we can make people more accepting, and I feel like the only way we can really battle that kind of ignorant thought process is to make more people aware of how many of us there actually are. And the more of us there are, I feel like the more accepting people will be, just because they'll realize how normal it is to be pansexual, how normal it is to be trans, how normal it is to be gay, straight, bi, whatever you identify as. I feel like if more people are open about who they are, if more people come out, then maybe people will become more accepting. Does that mean that's what's going to happen? I can't say. It's who knows how things are going to pan out in the next however many years, but I know with a lot of things going on in the world, especially the US right now, you know, a lot of people of the LGBTQIA community are threatened, their way of life is threatened, their rights are threatened, just like a lot of different minorities or a lot of different groups, you know. And I really wish we lived in a different world where everybody was accepting of everybody, no matter what color they were, what sex they were, what walk of life they came from. You know, it's crazy. And with Roe v. Wade being overturned, there's going to be a lot of things that change. But even with that, there's things that didn't even protect a lot of people of color from to begin with. So I just feel like this video is important, just to kind of say, hey, I'm here, this is who I am, maybe you didn't know this about me, and now you can realize it's not that big of a deal that I'm pansexual. So if we make it not that big of a deal and more people are like, hey, I'm this, I'm that, maybe we can break a lot of the stereotypes, make people more comfortable and more accepting. Enough rambling. I hope that makes sense and that you get what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do. If not, I mean, all I can do is try. At the end of the day, you're going to believe what you want to believe and you're going to think what you want to think, but at least I can say I gave it my best. So I should probably start by saying I'm not going to give specific names of people, just because even though I'm comfortable saying who I am and telling my truth, that doesn't mean someone else in my life story is comfortable, so I'm not going to put their shit out there like that. That wouldn't be fair to out someone else. So I'm probably going to make up some names as I go to reference situations, just so I'm not interfering with someone else's personal life. So Luna's asleep right there, so I'm sure at some point she's going to appear in the video, because when I'm talking a lot, she usually wakes up from whatever nap she's taking. So anyways, as I was saying, I will start with when I really started realizing I was different. So growing up as a kid, I have some family members, I'm not going to say how close they are, I'm not going to say who, but I had some family members that were, I don't want to say necessarily homophobic, but were against anyone who was not straight and who was not cis. So growing up, that kind of bothered me because I had started meeting people that were different, because I was in a different atmosphere and a different community than my family members that were feeling this way. I was raised in a different atmosphere, and I don't think it has anything to do with why my sexuality is what it is. I do, however, think it has everything to do with why I'm accepting and how I'm accepting and how I got to that point. So growing up, I would say a majority of like my preteens, even though at that time I didn't know myself who I was or what I was still very accepting. I would challenge these conversations with family members that would say, this is wrong, being gay is wrong, this is wrong, gays shouldn't marry, yada yada yada. And to put it in perspective, I was born in the 80s and I was a preteen in like the late 90s and early 2000s. So around that time, there weren't a lot of people that were that accepting, to be honest with you. There just really weren't, and I just remember kind of being frustrated with that, because I don't see how anyone else was living had any effect on any of their lives for them to be that upset about it, because it has nothing to do with them. Why do they care so much, you know? So as I was growing up, you know, I kind of always would voice my opinion that I think that they should have rights, that they should be able to have this, should be able to have that. And then I remember when I was probably about 14-ish, somewhere, maybe 15, one of the girls in my school, she had started dating another girl, and I didn't get along with her because she formerly dated someone close to me and had done some really wrong things to them. And so I was a bit spiteful to begin with, because I'm a very protective person about the people I care about. And so I was kind of mean, and unfortunately did make some digs just because of the fact that she was dating a girl. And I did have a little bit of internalized homophobia. And when I was young, I didn't understand if that was because of the family I was around that was kind of pushing that on me or what, but I quickly realized it was a mistake. It didn't take me too long to be like, you know, what am I doing? If I've been trying to stick up for people like that, and then the first chance that anything like that happens in front of me, I'm acting this way, why? Like, why is that reason? And I had to do a lot of deep thinking and, you know, self-healing, and I did have a therapist at the time, so I did kind of talk to her about it, and, you know, we kind of realized what the root of that was, and it was mostly, you know, internalized homophobia and dealing with who I was becoming and who I always was and just didn't realize at the time. So fast forward about a year or two after that, so at this point I'm like 16 or so, I had been hanging out with a group of friends, and there was this one girl that I was really close with, but not how you would normally picture girls being like best friends with. I definitely had a bit of a crush, but I didn't realize at first that that's what it was, and I would get jealous whenever she liked this kid that lived like the next street over from me, and I just remember being like really upset about it, and I didn't know why I was upset about it, so every time I would out together I would get super jealous, and she of course took it at first as me being jealous of just, you know, her not being as close of a friend with me anymore and becoming friends with someone else, and that's not what it was, and I never told her that that's what I was upset about, but I definitely started to realize that was something that bothered me, and I couldn't figure out why at first. And then as I was further into high school, I started to identify as bi. And even though, it's the 2000s at this point and people are becoming more accepting, it still wasn't widely really accepted. There were a lot of people that hated you for it, and I got teased enough in high school for certain things because I was a goth kid. A lot of the kids in school that were more popular would, find reasons to pick on us for that, like the little group of goth kids that hung out together. One of my friends constantly got called the Blair Witch and stuff like that, which was really cruel. And I had someone squirt an ink pen into my hair and on my clothes. I've had people put gum in my hair. Like, I've had people leave really mean and cruel things on my locker. I've had people, do a lot of really screwed up things. I had someone pants me in the hallway in front of a lot of people. And teachers just stand by and watch it happen and do nothing. So, growing up was already hard enough with all of those things, so I didn't tell a lot of people. There were a couple close friends that would kind of, recognize it and just silently acknowledge it without me ever saying, hey, I think I'm bi or anything like that. That conversation never came up, but they did see me do things that were very obvious. The first time I kissed anyone who was not a cis male was when I was 17, and it was a girl that I kind of had a crush on, but it was more of a let me feel this out type thing. And I realized after that I am attracted to more than just men, and that's okay. And thankfully, majority of the people that I was close with were pretty accepting. There were some of my family members that I kept it from because I knew they wouldn't be, at least at that time. Some of them, their views have changed, and some of them have not. But I kept it quiet from my family for sure for the longest time. I think one of my brothers knew, and that was it. Then after high school, when I started, hanging out with groups of friends outside of school that were different types of friends, bigger groups of friends from different places, different areas, different walks of life, I started to really realize who I was as a person, and I definitely embraced the fact that I was not straight. And I was happy that I was able to be who I wanted to be with people that were accepting and understood me and had a lot of the same thoughts and feelings as me, and it was great. And I was able to go experience things and be places where there were other people like me and where I was accepted and loved and all that. So fast forward to about the age of 20. I was about 20, about to turn 21, and I had started dating my now ex-husband. When I first met him, we were getting to know each other and we were telling each other who we were as a person. We had been dating, I think, a couple months at this point, and I was like, something came up somehow. I don't remember how the conversation started, but we got into talking about sexuality, and I told him, well, I'm bi. And he said, no, you're not. And I said, yeah. And then he said, no, you're with me and I'm a man, so you're straight. And I was like, that's not really how that works. Just because I'm with someone now of a certain gender doesn't mean that I'm not attracted to those other genders. Obviously, I am with you, so yes, I'm only dating you. I only plan to date you, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden that just shuts off and I'm all of a sudden straight. And I remember getting into a lot of arguments about it, and I just kind of let it go and kind of let myself become subservient, and I let myself become like a weird Stepford wife type thing, which is a whole nother video. I became a shell of a human being, basically. I was not who I am for a very long time. The whole time I was in that relationship, not only did I hide my sexuality, I also hid my personality. I stopped doing things I liked, stopped a lot of things, and I remember I closed off that part of me, basically, and I didn't think about it again because, I would constantly get told that I'm not who I say I am. And after a while of getting beat down, I just decided to not talk about it and just let it slip to the back of my mind indefinitely, or for a very long time. So at this point, I had been with my ex for a very long time, and there was a lot of things that happened that resulted in our parting ways, including our divorce. divorce. As that was happening, I started to realize how much of myself I shut off to accommodate them, and that really upset me about myself, that I stopped being who I am and I hid who I was, and I was just an empty shell. And since I had been with the same person for almost 9 years, I decided I wasn't going to hide who I was anymore. And at that point, I completely embraced everything about myself. I started doing things I loved again. I started dating lots of people from lots of different walks of life and truly rediscovering who I was. And that's when I realized that the term bi didn't really fit who I was, and it never really did. I have a couple friends that consider themselves gender fluid, and I have some trans friends, and the more I talked with them and the more people I met through them and the more people I was around, and realizing who I'm attracted to and what really kind of gets my attention in people, I realized I'm more than just bi, because I'm attracted to people that don't identify as male or female, and people that are not cisgender. And that's when I really started to think about who I was, and I started to learn more about myself, and I realized, you know what, I think I am a pansexual. And I really sat with that for a while and thought about it, and really, thought about who I am as a person. And yeah, that was a nice thing to realize about myself, because I had, like I said, I hid a lot of myself from myself, and it was nice to finally know who you are in any aspect. It's nice to know who you are. Once you realize who you are as a person, it's very fulfilling. And I think it's important to always grow as a person as well. And growing as a person also means unlocking a lot of your own mysteries, honestly. So at this point, I have dated all kinds of different people, and I've found happiness in other people. And yeah, and then came to the time to actually come out for the first time ever in my entire life, which is weird considering I knew I was at least bi for a majority of my life, and some of my close friends knew it, but I never actually said anything. Now that I definitely knew who I was and that I was pan, I wanted to tell people. I wanted to be, because I was proud that I knew who I was. I was proud that I took the time to learn about myself and cultivate who I want to be, and also know who I am. Last year, so not even that long ago, I finally actually came out for the first time in my entire life, and I have told everyone, except for, I guess, you guys, that I am pansexual, and I'm proud of that, and I wouldn't change it for anything. It is a part of me and a part of who I am, and yeah, it's very freeing to know that you can be 100% yourself without worrying about anything else. And I hope that this video, although it's probably very rambly and I don't know, some of you may even consider it unnecessary, I think it's very important to know who you are. And I hope this gives you the courage to be who you are, because everyone should be able to be who they are in a safe, loving environment. And I hope one day we all have that. With that, I guess that is the end of this video. I want to wish you all a happy Pride, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, become who you are, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.